Welcome back, world, to the No Suits podcast, where we come to you every week, real, raw, giving you our opinions on the latest sports topics. We cover everything from even high school sports all the way up to professional, and even some of your retired athletes. So definitely tune in every Monday. What we got? What we got on this agenda for this podcast?
Yes, sir. We're gonna start to kick it off with UConn star Paige Bueckers. She just signed a multi-year, if you didn't hear me correctly. NIL deal with StockX. Man, that's real big for the everybody in college sports and under. What you take from that?
Man, it was good. Like you said, it's good for college sports. It's good for women's sports. It's just overall, it's just a good deal moving forward for her, especially with it being a multi-year deal, something that she'll be able to like build up over time. Especially being a women's athlete, that one of the pitfalls is, the pay, especially when you get to the WNBA. I think this will be something to not only help her, be more, I guess, affluent, more wealthy, but it's also going to help her grow the sport. Or I hope it helps her grow the sport. I hope that StockX has like a commitment to also growing the sport as well. And not, what I'm saying, not just saying, because they saying that in articles that I'm reading, they're saying that they want to give, women a voice and things like this. But I didn't see nothing about the sport, for one. And then for two, I think growing the sport of women's basketball, really women's sports in general, will inevitably give them the platform that you say you're trying to give them. So hopefully they take that route, and instead of just trying to, well, I ain't gonna say instead of just trying to, because that's their business. They trying to create StockX as a business, not the WNBA. But I do hope that they merge together, because I know the girl, she young. Paige Bueckers is young, so I don't want to put all the pressure on her to say you need to put this sport on your back and grow it and make it to where everybody's okay. But I can't put that on the WNBA, the NCAA, and a little bit now on StockX as well, since that's what they said. And I hope that's the commitment that they're gonna try to make here moving forward. What about you?
I like it a lot, bro. I really like it a lot. I think StockX really been doing their thing as far as what I've saw. They keep growing. I think from last year to this year, they was evaluated at like 1 billion, and then in this year, had a 1.8 billion opened up publicly in order to get investors and everything, and growing as far as women apparel, growing as far as having like the customer base of signature shoes for women. They doing it crazy, for the women aspect. Like, okay, let's go ahead and get us a baller. For Paige, I think this is brilliant. Like you said, she young. Shawty a freshman. Well, I'm sorry, she a sophomore now. Freshman year went crazy. You know what I mean? Averaged 20 points a game. Some, you know what I mean? She won the Woodman Award as a freshman. It's never been done since they've been giving out the award. So it's like seeing that aspect, it's brilliant to see. I wish, me personally, if like a Breonna Stewart was still how crazy she could have grew, having being a part of UConn. She went to 4 national championships, won all of them, finals MVP for all of them.
Right.
Having something like that, but she is, like I said, I think Paige gonna be a big star. Is great to see, especially because I don't understand how women's college basketball is so big and so watchable, and it gets to WNBA and that joint fall off drastically. It's messed up on everybody's part, but I think they're trying to make a change.
I don't know about the WNBA. I don't know if they're trying to make a change. Do you know the WNBA makes $60 million a year? Like, that's their revenue, which is, that ain't even the funny part. The funny part is that it costs $70 million to run it.
They're in negative. Yeah.
Now, how in the fuck is that a good business? What's worse is that Paige, luckily the NCAA has a one and like they can't do one and done in women's college basketball. Mm-hmm. Luckily, because if she would have went to the NBA, she would have lost money.
Oh yeah, that's a great point.
Think about that. Well, I ain't gonna say she would have lost money because the off the court things, but this is an off the court thing. But she just would have lost her. I don't think she would have got the deal just because the WNBA, like you said, is I ain't gonna say unwatchable because that's unfair to the athletes, and it ain't got nothing to do with
nothing to do with
what they doing. Yeah, we ain't saying that. It ain't got nothing to do with with y'all playing the actual sport. It's more so to do with like them, the people that are in charge of growing the sport. They like a touch less than horrible at doing it. So that's the issue.
It makes no sense. And I think
Bro.
her being in the forefront of this and seeing, I think her likeness, they said, is worth almost 400,000 or something like that. Seeing that and being able to expand on that, having what I don't understand though is I think UConn still have to, whenever they're doing team activities, they still have to wear Nike. I don't know how I feel about that, just because I understand of course they have their deals made and everything, but if I'm my own person, my own likeness, I can profit off of. Who are you to tell me what I have to wear and everything just because so you could get richer? It's like it's so messed up that they have these stars aligned for them, this for the company. And of course it's been done because these agreements for players to get paid is just starting off. But it's like it's crazy to see how big of deals these companies had in order for them to make and continue to make money. And man, it's unfortunate because they don't be having the players' best interest in mind
At all. And that's why I say with this deal, I think it's a great deal as far as money, but we talking about it from a sports, just
right.
for everybody out there. We talking about it from a sports perspective because it's a sports podcast. And that's why we have the opinions we have. But shit, like I said, I think it's a great for money, but I don't know. Like as far as the sport, as I was looking it up and I'm seeing like all the different women's, I'm comparing basically. I'm comparing the women's endorsements and the men's or the NILs or whatever they are.
Right.
And the money ain't the difference. Actually, I want to say Paige has like one of the best deals of it. It ain't the money that's the difference. It's the fact that I feel like these companies are turning them into influencers or models as opposed to elevating them as athletes. Like if you look up Paige's thing, she's gonna have one picture at the bottom with a basketball. All the rest of them are just modeling pictures and so forth and so on. When you look at all the other, they got twins out of UNLV. I forget their names. They got one of the biggest deals modeling. It's not a basketball in there. So, and that's why I don't know how good these. Yeah, and that's why I had the opinion of I don't really know how good the deal is for the sport, although it's great for the individual. But the sport is just gonna turn your best players. Like, think if you had Skylar Diggins. Yeah, I know you remember Skylar Diggins. You had Skylar Diggins with one of these deals. I ain't gonna say she wouldn't have went to the WNBA, but I am saying that she only worth 800,000 right now.
Yeah.
There's no way she couldn't make more money modeling. And if somebody would have turned her into a model at 18, 19, like it just would have been, it would have took off. And I think it would have took her from basketball. And that's the only basketball player, WNBA basketball. That's the most, I know she's the highest paid. And so I'm imagining she's one of the best, at least one of the best. And yeah, so that's what I hope. I hope that they don't take it and make it something that it ain't.
That's a great point, but at the same time, you have to get how you live. Like, how the saying going, sex sells, even if they're not doing something sexual. If somebody's saying them, look attractive or enticing, it's like, oh, we can sell this. We can put somebody that look best of both worlds. She can hoop and she can, you know what I mean? Like, focus on the hooper. That's what y'all need to focus on. Focus on the hooper because these women actually can play. And if you watch them play, they can play. We all watch them in the NCAA, the Final Four, March Madness, seeing like, wow, these girls can play. But when it comes to WNBA going forward, it's like, that's a bit terrible product. Why do you think that is? It has nothing to do with the actual play. It has everything to do with the organization it's done. And it's terrible to see.
You take the same exact players that you wanted to watch and only put the best of them on TV. And now all of a sudden it's unwatchable. That's not because of them playing basketball. That's because of you motherfuckers that's promoting it. Y'all make it so I don't know what they do actually because I ain't seen it.
Dang.
Have you? I've seen no WNBA. I don't know when the season starts. I'm nothing.
I want to say they had the don't know what that championship called. They had a championship not too long ago.
It's on the public too, though. It's on us too. It's on everybody. It's a collective effort to grow it because they not just getting paid just because people don't like them. It's because the money ain't there. They ain't making $60 million because we all sitting around watching the WNBA. So it's on us too.
Yeah.
But we got to watch the motherfucker too.
But most definitely. But y'all need to definitely do something to the product. Do something not to the product. Do something to how y'all trying to present this to the public. And it's not hard.
They got to change the rules, bro. They gotta find a rule change. And I think now is the best time because shooting is becoming shooting in handles. Like that ain't got nothing to do with dunking or running fast, nothing. That people try to say the difference is.
That's the thing. They can easily alleviate that. It's not like the women are playing with the same regulation balls. That wouldn't make any sense. Women are naturally smaller, even though these athletes, are on the taller end. They play with a smaller ball because it makes sense. When it also makes sense to lower the goal 2 feet in order to have that high flying action that you want to see because these women can actually play, but they get a bunch of layups because they can't physically not possible to do that on a
I can't dunk.
Hell. You know what I mean? But
I can't dunk, nigga. I'm a grown ass. It ain't gonna happen. Like, come on now.
It don't make no sense. And I feel like these simple things like that, it can make the product a lot better, but then I feel like it's almost a stubbornness to it.
I be thinking that too. I think they need to get a fresh set of eyes on it, a fresh brain on it, because I think right now they're in a situation where they, like I said, they have a product and they just want you to buy it because it's the same product that somebody else has, but somebody else is, promoting their product a little bit better and doing things on the back end better that makes their product like that's gonna be the one.
And I do commend the WNBA for getting the NBA players involved and trying to get things promoted, but that's not going to solve everything. You can't just put a public face and be like, okay, we got LeBron, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry talking about this. Not going to make it, better. You have to.
They got the same thing as Ben Simmons, bro. Ben Simmons have a basketball problem and he think he has a Philly problem. The WNBA, you have a basketball problem, not a people problem, because you can get LeBron James and he can get me to watch one game, and if I watch that one game and I'm not gonna watch any of the other ones. Y'all gotta hype that shit up, get people to get in the stands, get an atmosphere, something.
And stop spending $75 million when you're making $60 million. Like, what is going on? How's that even possible?
I wouldn't even want to join that organization low key. Like, think about that. If you came out of college, a company said, hey, bro, we want to present you with a job offer. And you start looking up the company and the company's making $10 million, $15 million less than they're earning. You don't want to join that company.
No, sir, because it's a sinking ship. It's a sinking ship.
It's a sinking ship.
We hate to have to, dog on people and try to get that, but it needs to be said, and we keep it real. And it needs to be said because we want to see these women progress. We want to see that sport and get them all the accolades that they rightfully deserve.
Exactly. Bingo. That's exactly what we want to see. As far as moving along, though, hey, I got a good transition. Moving along. Speaking of accolades people deserve, my Sooners have been getting accolades that they do not deserve. We've been getting accolades that we don't deserve, man. This Baylor game, I'm gonna just go first because it's gonna be short because we got our ass beat. We only scored 7 points. I know it said more than that on the scoreboard, but we really only scored 7 points. Mm-hmm. So we damn near got shut out. It's piss poor. I think at this point it's the coach. Like I was telling you off the air, I think it's the coaching because like, there's no way. Like I said, Spencer Rattler, I thought was just bad. I'm like, okay, yeah, Spencer Rattler bad. Get another quarterback. He looking good for a little while, and then all of a sudden, he get into the same as Spencer Rattler. I just literally, I don't know what they doing. They just dropping back, throwing the ball up. We're not playing no defense, but that's per usual. We're not playing no defense. And it's bad. We're not running the ball, nigga. We just not doing nothing football related. When the game start, it's like, hey, nigga, don't do none of the fundamentals of football. We're gonna try to win this a different way, and it don't be working.
So wait. Let's rewind that. Are you saying Lincoln Riley need to get up out of there?
No,
Hey man,
nigga.
I'm just trying to clarify. You just
Hell
said,
no.
all right, what do he need to change or do?
He need to get another coordinator. The only reason why I'm not saying Lincoln Riley should be up out of there is not because of coaching, it's because it's NCAA, and I think he's a good recruiter, a great
Okay.
recruiter, I would say.
Yeah,
because,
and that's such a pivotal concept. You have to be a great recruiter to be a great coach.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be. Or but the best thing about being a great recruiter is you can be a great recruiter and not be a good coach, and you'll be okay because the game is won on the field.
Have a good supporting cast and you're good. Like even if
You're gonna be good.
personally, Coach O, as far as the LSU go, he wasn't a great. He used to be a great recruiter and surround himself with good coaches. When you do that type of concept to it, you're good. You don't have to be this all-star Nick Saban type coach. Recruit,
you don't
surround yourself, and good. So
you're good to go.
If he don't continue not to do that,
then he's gonna have to go. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, because we also we about to make a move. I'm always somebody that talks about the SEC, but I do know that the SEC is better than the Big 12. The SEC is better than the Big 12, regardless of what I say about it and all this shit. I know it's better than Big 12. And so if we struggling in the Big 12, that leads me to believe that we at least gonna have 2 or 3 losses in the SEC, just because you got to play Alabama, you got to play Georgia, and you gonna have another one of them games. LSU might be good one year. Y'all sometimes be up and down. Florida might be good one year. They be up and down. Auburn might have a good year. It's a lot of teams in there that do well with recruiting, and so they're always gonna be competitive. They may not be like nationally competitive, but they're gonna be good. If you're not good, they're gonna beat your ass. And that's where I'm like, shit, we gonna have to. And Lincoln Riley, honestly, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, bro. Honestly, he not even a great recruiter, right? He took a chance. He took a chance on Baker Mayfield, on the transfer shit. He took a chance. He won the Heisman. Kyler Murray seen that as a transfer that was disgruntled, because that's what happened with Baker Mayfield at Texas Tech. Disgruntled, like shit just wasn't working out. They didn't want to give him a scholarship, I think it was. Yeah. Lincoln Riley said, boom, I'll do it. Same thing, Kyler Murray was at Texas A&M, having some troubles down there. Not nothing crazy, just like little shit. Get up out of there. He disgruntled. He goes to Lincoln Riley. These were like 2 Heisman winning quarterbacks. I ain't saying that Lincoln Riley ain't had nothing to do with that shit, but you see what I'm saying? Like Kyler Murray, as we could see with Kyler Murray, that man was a beast. And sometimes in college football, it just don't translate at quarterback. So Baker Mayfield ain't really doing amazing, but he's still an NFL starting quarterback. Most NFL starting quarterbacks gonna be, they're gonna be all right in college.
That's true. That's a good point too. I almost forgot that they're making a move next year to the SEC. So
right.
I mean, we see an A&M move to the SEC, and Jimbo Fisher, they let him get a couple years on them and stuff like that. I don't know if they'll allot Lincoln Riley the same type of leisure just because of how things been going. You think so?
Yeah, they will. They will. Okay. Just because it's like, them big schools don't just be firing, like big prestigious schools, like Notre Dame gonna have the same coach forever. Alabama gonna have the same coach forever. Even y'all keep y'all coaches for a long time until like some crazy shit happen. Yeah. Or like, this is like Coach O. I feel like it's like one of the. Well, I guess this is the first time I done heard about y'all having a different, like firing a coach. You see what I'm saying? Didn't like the one Les Miles he had to resign or some shit, right?
Yeah, and Coach O stepping away too. It's like almost mutual. So it's almost they still keep that respect factor. Exactly. It's not like middle of the road type thing, but you can't keep losing and then expect to be at one of these top schools.
But he losing a lot. Lincoln Riley ain't gonna lose a lot.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna lose a lot, but we just never gonna win a national. I ain't gonna say never, but we just not gonna win. This ain't the best way to win a national championship. But he not gonna be losing, and I don't think there's a better option than him. So that's why I think that he not gonna get fired. But if we was talking about like, all right, do you think he's gonna coach you into a national championship win? Then I'll have to say no.
Okay, I feel that. I'm excited to see that move, not just especially because what happened. We talked about how y'all was getting slighted, and the committee looked like they did some decent service by not keeping y'all, up in the top 4 and bumping down to 8, and it's gonna be bumped down a little bit more by losing to Baylor. I agree with you. I think it's coaching. I just don't know, bro. Like, because it have to be because Spencer Rattler, he was already a cocky dude. We saw that from the series he was on in high school. Caleb Williams, I feel like he was, he a freshman, he humble. You trying to do your thing. He got a couple of good starts on them, and it's like, I'm good. Walking around feeling it. It's like, bro, you can't do that. Y'all have to try to work as a team. You have to try to be a lead on your team. Try to be better and better. And I don't see that. So maybe it is the environment, not sure. But man, they got to definitely get different coordinators. You can't have 2 rushes running on you 100 plus. You can't do that. You can't do that. You try to win.
Hey, look,
you can't do that.
One point with the committee though, it's not the committee's job to project. Like, the committee's job is to look and see what you've been doing, look at y'all's records, and go from there. And that's the only reason why. Like I said, I don't think Cincinnati is the number 2 team, but I can't say that they're not, because that's unfair to Cincinnati because they won all their games. Right. They won all their games. The same thing with like Oregon. I know people sleep on the Pac-12. I don't think Oregon is really like a top 4 team. But I cannot, if I had to if I had a job to do, I would have to put Oregon in because of what they've done on the field. Like they've done this on the field, and it's unfair to predict some shit you haven't seen and ignore the shit that you literally have seen, the work that they done put in and the games that they done played. And that's why I be thinking the committee could be going wrong.
That's a good point, especially with the preseason projections and everything. It's almost like, how they say you're innocent until proven guilty. You have to build a case in order to, let's say we build in the case to put you in the top 4 or slide you. They work backwards from that. You guilty to innocent. They already have the case. Okay, we can, put you in these slots. Like, you have no evidence towards this. Stop doing this. It makes no sense. But, that's how it go. It is an aspect of college football that is exciting factor.
Yeah,
who's gonna be in? Yeah, you gotta.
Hey, as much shit as I talk about it, nigga be loving that shit. Like, hey, bro, that's crazy. Like, y'all niggas, it's really some fucked up shit though.
It's entertaining.
It's really fucked up though. Yeah, that shit fucked up. Like, nigga go to practice all year, play the same games, had the same record as Alabama, really have a better one, and they ranked above you. Like, bro, I've been practicing all week too. Like, I done had to do all the players from Oregon have had to do the same work. They've not put in a second less of work than the players at Alabama. So it is fucked up. And they have the best win. Of any team in the NCAA. Besides Texas A&M, because Texas A&M technically beat the number 2 team.
Right.
Although Ohio State is the number 6 team, they got the same record, and they lost to the number 4 team. That is confusing. But that's just, they got the best win. I don't see how you can put them above, or I don't see how you can put them behind somebody like that. That's fucked up to me. But it'd be entertaining though, for sure. But that shit fucked up for sure.
Yeah, bro. Y'all gotta stop doing this. But it is entertaining. We're gonna love that entertainment factor. Whew. Moving to the NFL though. Oh my goodness. We have Superman Cam Newton himself come back to the Carolina Panthers. Not only did he come back to the Carolina Panthers, I feel like, I don't know, they were facing a Cardinals team. It's like you can't write this stuff, bro. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Facing a Cardinals team that only had 1 loss underneath them, Cam Newton come and score 2 touchdowns, run for 1, throw for 1. You know what I mean? He didn't start, of course. He just got back, but he's contributing. Right. He contributed 14 points easy. Had them feeling good with a 34-10 win. Bro, Superman. Carolina, are they about to make a resurgence or what?
Or what? No, they not. Or what? But hey, Cam did his thing though. Cam got got that curse of the gifted, man. He's so gifted that that's just you expect the Super Bowl out of him when like you have a lot of quarterbacks that haven't won a Super Bowl. One quarterback that I like and a team that we're gonna touch on later playing for the LA Rams, Matthew Stafford, is not as decorated as Cam Newton when you talk about actually what you've done on the field. But Matthew Stafford is perceived to be a better quarterback than Cam Newton. And we're going to see how it all play out. But I know right now today, Cam Newton's best, his ceiling is way better than Matthew Stafford's ceiling. And that's from what I done seen. And I haven't seen Cam Newton play with, I don't know, like one of the top 10 best receivers ever. I've never seen that. But I have seen Matthew Stafford do it, and I've seen what he did with it. That I would say would be his best. We're gonna see this year though, because this year he has a great thing going. But I mean, he up against a lot. Cam Newton went 15-1. We already know Matthew Stafford not gonna do that. Cam Newton won a Super Bowl. I mean, he went to a Super Bowl, won an MVP. I'm not gonna say Matthew Stafford's not gonna do that, but we gonna see. We're gonna see. But like I said all that to say, we can't put too much on Cam just because like he's Cam. He played well today. They played well today, and they got a win. And we're going to see how they go. It's not a failure. Well, I'm saying that to say it's not a failure if the Panthers don't have a great season. And I'm using Matthew Stafford as a comparison because they never had a great season. He's never in his life had a great season with – I ain't going to say that. But their team has never had a great season.
The Detroit Lions.
They still saying that he's better. And that's not what you've seen. You haven't seen that. That's not true.
That's real. I could feel that. I would hopefully Cam retires and stay with them for the long haul and can get a deal done and everything. I don't like how Carolina handled the Cam Newton situation. It made no sense. They try to go away from him for it. It's like they don't even have an explanation for it. If he didn't gel with Ron Rivera, okay, that makes a little bit of sense. But it's like, man, Cam Newton is a baller. He's gonna produce. He's gonna work. You ain't never have to question his leadership, work ethic, or if he actually enjoyed and loved his game. Never have to question it. He trying to win. You know what I mean? People bring up stuff like, okay, well, he needs to dive on the ball for the Super Bowl. If you don't understand or had never played sports, just say that. Should he have probably put a little effort in it? Sure, but you don't understand how fast this game is played. How fast he diving, he could easily hurt himself. Like anything can happen, but we have the luxury of looking on TV and seeing these slow-mos and these replays. It's not how that life works, man. It don't work like
not
that. This pace is stupid fast. But
and he had to dive on the ball in the Super Bowl. Like, don't let niggas forget that he's in the Super Bowl because of him. Like, okay, bro, like, slow down. Like, he's only in this situation because he's great. Exactly. Not in this situation because he's trash, like you trying to make him sound, or like he's not working hard, or he don't have heart. But I had to say that.
I appreciate you for saying it, because I don't know why they try to criticize and get on Cam so much. It's like they don't want to see people have fun. The people that have fun, they try to tear down. Right. The people that are quote unquote passionate, they try to tear down. I don't know why. I'm glad he never let stuff like that bother him. He continued to put his work in. We see his off-season workouts. We see, just different things that they do. I'm glad that Carolina came to their senses. I don't know what you was thinking with Sam Darnold, even though Sam Darnold looked good, first few games. When pressure is on, we're going to revert back to what we know and what we do. Sam Darnold looked terrible. He lost his starting job. I don't even know if he's still on the team. If he is, it's crazy because he's like third string.
He hurt, so they can't release him.
Ooh, that's that kill.
That's that kill. You got to keep him.
That's that kill. But you go out and get a Cam Newton, you swallow your pride. It's like, okay, we know this is gonna, it's gonna give us a spark. Right. I'm excited to see, I won't say necessarily this year, as they start building around them. Like, I feel like they have a good offensive mind in Joe Brady. They have a good running back. Get a few receivers, get that defense back, and see a resurgence of a player that I don't think I've ever saw or heard about before. Come and have a second coming home. I think it'll be dope to see.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that shit either. I hadn't even thought about it like that. But
Yeah.
I definitely, I think it will be. I mean, he better than Sam Darnold. There's never been in the history of Sam Darnold, he's never been better than Cam Newton when it comes to football. Not anything other than football, but when it comes to football, it's just never happened. And
You
yet,
know,
and still, this is one of the things I was saying. You still, people are you still think Sam Darnold was a better option than Cam Newton when he has literally never in life shown you that he was
ever,
good.
ever. It's like, what do you can't go by somebody's potential. Like, I don't care how much potential you think somebody has.
That
Potential
means you
means
ain't did
nothing.
it yet.
You ain't did a
Potential means you
thing.
ain't did shit yet. That's
That's
all
all.
potential means.
That's
Because
all it
once you
means.
realize it, it ain't potential no more.
That part, you know what I'm saying? That's all it means. And it what really bugged me though, of course, how they handled the situation, but then they went and got, even though Teddy Bridgewater was doing this thing, you got somebody that mimic what Cam can do. You know what I mean? Like try to and do a little bit worse. Like, you know, could go ahead and get you your points, get you these drives and everything. Teddy Bridgewater more of a game manager. So you got
Right.
somebody, brought somebody in that's a little bit worse. And it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Move to somebody that haven't done anything in a Sam Darnold. It's like, what are y'all doing as an organization? You need to really take a look in. And I think it's more on them than on Cam. Because if y'all have just stuck with Cam, let him heal up, build around him, it'd have been okay.
Yeah. It's on the organization. Like they never built around Cam.
Ever. Protection. You know, they don't care about him getting hit all these times. Really never had a receiver. And it's like, I don't know, man.
They best receiver, they best receiver was Steve Smith, and Steve Smith retired, I think, as a Raven.
Yeah.
How the fuck that happened?
That man said I forgot the choice words he had about the Carolina Panthers, but that should tell y'all everything need to be said.
Right. How is your best player finish his career like in a different place? It makes no sense.
And was
Especially when you
balling.
Carolina. When you
Yeah.
Carolina, you can't do that. Like if you in contention and he taking, too much money from you and shit like that, okay, I see it. But y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't. I don't think the Panthers was ever in salary cap. Like I know the Panthers. If the Rams ain't in salary cap hell, nobody's there.
Yeah. That's a great point, because those Rams, those Rams, like we talked about it. We said Odell gonna end up in LA. Odell
Right.
ended up in LA. And again, you can't write this storyline. Robert Woods go down the day Odell gets there. Bro, if something ain't fishy
That's crazy.
going on here, man, I
I
don't
had
know,
to start
bro.
Odell for that shit. I had to go ahead and start him in fantasy.
Had to, bro. Like, I don't know. This is some wrestling junk. Like, that's a wrestling storyline. Odell goes to LA.
It is.
It's an Odell thing to do.
It
He
is.
gets there. The other wide receiver opposite of Cooper Kupp, who's been, doing this thing, goes down to a season-ending injury right before they have to play on Monday night. Come on, man.
That shit was bad business, bro. That shit was bad business. I'm just like, like you said, you can't write this no better.
You can't write this no better. I don't understand. But how do you think Odell? Because he said he want to be there long term because he's Odell. He wants to be in LA. So how do you think that's gonna fare out for him and the rest of his career?
I think it's gonna fare out pretty well, to be honest. Like he's in the city. He wants it just makes better life. And me and you had this conversation all the time. Me and this nigga Krim be talking about. I always think it's better just to go to the best place that you like to live at. And so going to these coastal teams, your teams in Cali or Florida, I always think no matter if it's NFL or NBA, just go to those teams and figure the shit out, the rest of the shit out. Also, the Rams, they they got a way of like I think it might be because of the city. Everybody just is cool with it. Like, if you're not getting all your touches and shit like that, they just be cool with it. But I also think that they gonna make sure that he gets his touches, especially now he's the number 2. I think it's gonna go well. I think Robert Woods gonna unfortunately be the odd man out, and I think it's gonna go well for him. Him not being the number 1, I think, is the best, even though I think eventually he will become the number one. But I think until then, I think it's gonna definitely be good. And even after then, I think it'll be good.
He should, like, as far as what we just talking about potential, as far as what Odell's skill set that he should become number one. Do I think that's gonna happen? Now with Cooper Cup around, like
Yes,
Cooper Cup, that Cooper Cup have been doing something on a consistent basis, and it's like, how's this man getting better? Because it's like, what? Yeah, he's tall, he can run good routes, but like, what is he doing? What is he studying that he have, that he's sitting in the right spots, catching these, being in the right place at the right time consistently. I don't know if Odell will be okay with just being number two, especially in a city like LA. I think he gonna want to shine. Me personally, like Spencer said, that boy Spence said, we debate about you should just go to these coastal teams. Spencer on the side of, okay, you should just go there. I'm on the side of, if you really just trying to get money, I don't care where you go. If you're trying to get money, that's, ain't worried about the sport. But if you're actually trying to win, don't tell me you're trying to win and then do something like this, because you can easily go and try to win somewhere, and you have, your off season and the rest of your life to do whatever. But when it comes to a player like Odell, I'm all for what you saying, because Odell is he is that. I mean, he's been like that since yay high of that showmanship. He wants that spotlight and everything. So as things settle in, and say if Cooper Cup keep going for 11 for 120, 13 for 130, stuff like that, and he getting 5 for 60.
Cooper might go for 2K.
2K.
He got 1,000 already through what, 8?
That's what I'm
17
saying, bro.
games.
I don't think him seeing the opposite person shine and getting all the accolades in the same position that he's playing. Like I said, like Cooper go for 11 for 130. He goes for 4 for 48 or 5 for 60. He might throw in a 10 for 100 and somewhere. But if Cooper constantly doing it on a consistent basis, I don't think it's going to end too well. Not end too well. I think it's going to be more of a talked about thing. The media, especially in LA, is going to hound him. You know what I mean? We seen the media in New York hound him. We seen the media in Cleveland hound him. He coming to LA, I think it's going to be a little bit worse, especially somebody in your position going to be performing better. Hopefully, I hope for the best for him, but that aspect I'm really interested to see, like how he's going to, because you can't say anything now. You have a receiver opposite of you balling. You have a quarterback who's going to get you the ball. If you're really just not doing anything, if you're not catching the ball, getting open, whatever, that part I'm scared to see about, because that can be really detrimental to his career.
That could be. I just don't think that. I think that he can still ball. So I think he better than Cooper Cup by a lot, and I think that that's gonna show. Because
what the film say?
I mean, that's true. But yeah, you're right. I do need to go back to what I was saying earlier. Hey, you got to go with what you been showing, because I can say it all day that I think he better, but if Cooper Cup is consistently performing better, then no matter how it look over here, it look like it should be better. It still ain't. And that's just the truth. But we're going to see right now. Like I said, I want to see it. But like you said too, though, he can't say nothing. So I know it got to go well. I don't think Odell is dumb by any stretch. I think that he want what he want. And I think that he's always gotten what he's wanted. Even up until this point, getting out of Cleveland and going to LA. He's always gotten what he's wanted, except for one time. And we seen that in Cleveland, how that went. So we gonna see how it go. But I think that it's gonna end up going well, just because I think he wants to be in LA more than he really wants to I ain't gonna say play football, but
I will.
Being in LA is a problem.
I'll say that. I'll say that.
I ain't gonna say that, but I think that nigga definitely values LA more than, or I ain't gonna say more than, but close to the football. Yeah, close to it.
More than football. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I definitely don't think nothing wrong with it here. You know me, I'm valuing the most of my time. Nigga, we play 17 games, 20 if we win the Super Bowl. Nah, bro, I want to be where the fuck I like to be at.
You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I have that mentality of, you should, if you're trying to play, bro, give it your all, which I think he will. But when something is competing with you, like as far as your attention to LA, because he said, literally said, you know what I mean? LA is somewhere I want to be. So me and my girl, we could grow our careers off the field. When you have that mindset, which is a great mindset to have, because you recognizing, football is very is very encapsulated in how many years you can play. But it's like, bro, to me, you might not be, trying to do everything you can on this football field versus you doing everything you can in the LA market. It's gonna be tough, but
he gonna put the cart before the horse for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I think. But I think him being the number 2 is okay doing that. You can be the number 2 putting the cart before the horse, but it's gonna be hard to be the number 2.
But can you, from a simple standpoint of you trying to do that, but you're also trying to be the star off the field? It's like, you're not the star on the field. Like that's your bread and butter. You ain't the star on the field. What are we doing this for?
He got so much hype though. He gonna automatically be the star no matter what. Just because, or I ain't gonna say no matter what, but despite a lot of things, he gonna be a star because he gonna make some plays. Like he became a star off one play.
Yeah.
And and I ain't gonna say he haven't did anything since, but it haven't been much. And he's still a star. And when was that?
I ain't gonna let you slide him like that. That man was putting up. He was at the time, he did that. He started putting up numbers. He started doing going crazy as far as his production.
Since how long it's been though?
It's been a minute. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a minute.
And it been what, 4 years?
I think longer.
At least 3, because he been in Cleveland for 2.
I think longer. It's been longer than that. Because Odell, we have to be the same age. Odell a little bit older. I think it's been
29
for 6 years, like about 6 years since that, 5 or 6 years since that.
It's been a minute. Well, even not even since, we could just say not even since that catch. Give him, because I know his first 3 years was amazing. His first 3 years was amazing, but everything since then hasn't been, up to that level. But he still gets the treatment of that level.
That's true.
So I'm thinking in LA, even if it were to decline a little bit, being in LA gonna make up for it. Because if you was a star in Cleveland, then but being in LA, even if you're not performing as well, you still gonna be a superstar. You should be, I think.
It should be. Yeah, I feel you. I don't know.
But that's where you think the problem gonna be at, though, right? Becoming an even bigger superstar, because he's just gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Especially if he start balling. So do you think it's just like a lose-lose? Like, all right, if he not balling, he gonna be mad. And if he is balling, he gonna get distracted off the field?
That's a good question.
I thought about that when I was doing my notes. I was like, damn, is it? But then I was like, that's why I just stuck with saying I think that he gonna be okay with being the number 2 and putting up number 2. I ain't gonna say okay with it, but I think he's gonna be content with it. Obviously, I think he's gonna be working trying to be the number 1, but I think he'll be content with being the number 2, and he's able to fulfill his off the field obligations because he's not the number 1 and putting in those extra hours that it's gonna take to be the number 1.
That's a good point. I think that only works though if he makes a flashy play from here and now. You're not hearing the actual, like type play. If he don't and producing number 2 numbers and not getting on the field, because you have to think about it too. It's people in the media gonna start talking, like, even all publicity is good publicity, but as far as this football thing go, they're gonna be up there. Is Odell this? Did he get too much hype early on? They're gonna have all those storylines that it's like, maybe this man not the man. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to affect, like you said, affect his off the field LA type thing. But I think it might get to him not even hearing, but having that standpoint go on and, not really producing. So I don't know.
We definitely gonna see for sure. One thing for sure. We gonna see. So hopefully, hey, we wish you the best, but we just wanna we gotta see it. I gotta see how this whole LA Rams thing work out, and that was before he even got there. So this just added an extra piece to it. But I think they so talented that they gonna look good either way. Like Sean McVay is gonna draw up some plays. The way they run their offense, everybody looks good in it. So I know he gonna look good. I ain't gonna say everybody, but most people look good in it.
I'll say
So
like the people they had come through, I think they look good.
yeah,
But that's
good.
my fear though, because I want Odell to succeed both on and off the field. If he gets in that system and don't look good, that's gonna be tough, dog. That's gonna be tough.
At that point, he just not good no more. I just don't think that's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
at that point, you just not you lost it. And you had a great run. You in LA. Hopefully you put your money up and you're making a lot more, but you just not gonna be that guy no more.
Ooh.
They're gonna turn it, like we said earlier, they're gonna turn into an influencer.
Ain't nothing wrong with it though.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that in this situation, because he not trying to grow a whole sport. The NBA, the NFL already making 12 billion or whatever the fuck it is.
Stupid.
The WNBA, they not doing that. So it's not the same like on that type of front. Like you turn into an influencer, now the whole sport suffers, you know?
But at the same time, like bringing it back to Paige, what if she don't care about growing in WNBA? Like me personally, if I'm seeing like you looking ahead and seeing a dying product that lies await, and all of a sudden I could profit now off a product that doesn't, have any type of debt date, and you looking like, okay, I got this following on TikTok, on Instagram.
She can't do that.
Man, she got to. You got to get
She
that money.
can't do that, bro. She can't do that just because all the things that she already been saying, all the things that women say about, or all the things that people say about sports. They kind of get pigeonholed into making, not the best decision for their business or for themselves, because you've been saying all this stuff about it. Now you're getting this money off the court, but you feel obligated because you've been talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to go join this horribly run, losing money business that you probably ain't really just want to be a part of. You just want to hoop.
That's it.
You love basketball. You can love that. Yeah, you just want to hoop. So we gonna see. I hope the WNBA make some changes, bro. Like, I don't know what type of changes. I don't want to see them dunking and shit.
I do,
but
that'll be cool,
bro.
You tripping? See Paige throw it off the glass. Somebody come back. Huh. Man, you tripping?
I don't want to see him dunk. You want to see him dunk?
I want to see them do 360s, everything. Yes, that's exciting. That's a lot of part of why people love the NBA. Yes, I want to see them. I want to see them hammering joint. I want to see Candace Parker coming through. Hood. Yes, I want to see that.
I don't want to see that. You want to see him dunking?
You don't.
It's gonna look, because they're gonna have to lower the rim.
That's fine. It ain't gonna. So.
And I think they should focus on like shooting and making the games more high flying and shit like that. Maybe making the court bigger or wider, so that way it just spreads it out more and people can get to the lane a little bit better or some shit. But you want to see him dunking
and dunking. I agree with you. What you saying? And dunking. You crazy? Yes, I want to see them dunking. You don't want to see somebody get dunking on somebody? You crazy, bro? That's gonna be, that leads to highlights, that leads to people talking about stuff, that leads to people watching stuff. Yeah, you can see a nice little three, but that's not gonna get somebody watching something like a splashing three unless they're shooting from like the logo. If you see somebody dunking on somebody, you're gonna want to see that.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think it come down to like more so just developing the skills, shooting and dribbling. Because think about the biggest NBA, the biggest like NBA people right now. Don't know them dunk. I would say LeBron, he does dunk. I would say KD. He can dunk, but that's not his game. Who would you say next?
But you're talking about a sport that, like you said, is developed and have everything. They're not worrying about anything. but when the thing is, they have the exclamation point though. When you see a LeBron come up the lane and hammer it, or have these high flying blocks and different things like that, that the threes and everything just adds to it. You know,
That
these are
is true.
complementary pieces.
That
You
is
know what I'm
true.
saying? I feel like they have to have those complementary pieces. Yeah, they could shoot all day,
Yeah.
but somebody you ain't gonna find a thousand Steph Currys. You know what I'm
That is
saying?
true.
You're gonna
I
they
digress.
all they're all tall. We can get people just yamming, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah, you're right. Them niggas can't. You can't just live off that one thing. Nigga got to have
yeah,
everything, and that's just the gravy.
yeah, you
Oh,
know.
fair point. Okay. Well, cool. They gonna have to start dunking then. Shit.
Low to go, let them go ham. Because I want to see that brings emotion. Like when Shaq dunked on, I don't remember who it was, but he dunked on somebody nasty, pushed him, kept running, threw the ball at him. It's like that's bro. It's disrespectful to dunk on somebody, but to push and everything, you're gonna get those characters. I'm sure they're gonna
It's
have
gonna be
those quote
hard
unquote.
though,
Why you say that?
because they whole thing, the little marketing that I do see is about being together and loving each other and unity. How you gonna dunk on the person? You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna really disrespect them.
Is you crazy? Yes. Disrespect them. That don't matter. You could have all the kumbaya that you want, but when them lights shining and the scoreboards get lit up, I
And then
am
Chris Taylor.
yamming on you. I'm yamming on you, man. I'm yamming.
You probably right about that though, because it got to be something that got to be done.
Something. I feel like they should get pressured at one point of doing it, but I don't know. In order to save that league, they need to be pressured into doing something. But we
We
definitely will
really
see.
just need to do a investigative journalism on who runs the WNBA, who the fuck runs this shit, and why they doing such a terrible job, bro.
That's the
Y'all
question.
niggas is doing horribly. Like what?
That's a question that definitely needs to be answered. It'd be different if the women's college didn't do well, and then it translate. Okay, that would make sense. But no, no,
Not
they
true.
doing spectacular, and y'all are doing terrible. Just wild.
Or is it this though?
Hmm.
I got another question. Is women's college basketball doing great, or is UConn doing great? And they just happen to play women's college basketball.
I think it's a little both. UConn been so dominant, but you have different people mixed in that uh that UConn didn't win every year. You know what I mean?
I know I ain't saying as far as them winning. I'm talking about regardless, like
Oh,
regardless if
the
they win or not, people
marketability of
gonna
it.
watch because of UConn. Like the
I
only
got
reason
you.
I only know about UConn, like obviously I know about other, colleges but I only know about UConn. I don't know who would be like, in college football, you can think of like the top
Yeah.
prestigious schools, you know what I'm saying? Even if they good or not. Like I would say Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame not good, I
But
still
the
know
thing
them.
about that is, I think that's not even a UConn thing. I think it's because they have the tournament. The tournament determines so much. So when you have in 64 teams and it's any anything can happen, and this school from anywhere like with the men's Loyola Chicago came out of nowhere and had that fairy tale type run. When you have those type of stories, it creates that hypeness. You know what I mean? You still have cornerstones with the UConn, but they have such, you can have those storylines as that we having a Cinderella season and it'd be great.
But what's a Cinderella season if all of us are Cinderella? Like all of them are, we don't know any of them. So all of you see what I'm saying? Like the only time it would be not a Cinderella story is if UConn wins. Otherwise, it's a Cinderella story because we don't know any of them. All of them are Loyola. All of anybody that's not UConn is the equivalent of Loyola, is how I think about it. That's why I asked the question: do you think UConn is good, or UConn is doing well, or NCAA women's basketball?
I think it's a mixture of both because I feel like you're gonna have the Baylors, the different schools out still of the Power Five that's gonna do well, but UConn is on a different level. So I feel what you're saying, but I think one team ain't gonna drive the type of fan base and hypeness that's needed. I think it's just because how NCAA market March Madness, period. So it have to be on the the actual people that's running these things to produce these products. Because you could take UConn out the equation. I feel like they're not gonna, I won't say not miss a beat, but they're gonna still have exciting, great games and great atmosphere to that contributes to the student athletes. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Y'all know you think it's just straight UConn? UConn is running the whole thing.
Yeah.
Before UConn was dominant, people was still with the same thing, still watching it and everything. And that's when WNBA was way even worse than it is now.
What you talking about?
Before UConn had this dominance.
Who was watching? Because who was watching? Be honest, who watching now?
Be honest, who watching like hardcore men's basketball, college basketball till they get closer to the tournament? Because that tournament is so it influences a lot. Like it'd be different if you have your seeding, that's what determines where you're gonna sit. But at the end of the day, you have this huge mark of the tournament. Like they really market March Madness. March Madness sticks out in a lot of people's mind, and it's like, oh, okay, we can watch this.
This my point or my opinion on it. I think that UConn is carrying it, and I think that the only reason why we really know about UConn is because of March Madness, and the only reason why we know about March Madness is because of men's college basketball and the upsets. Because we can't have a Cinderella story when you have Loyola win over, I don't know who they beat. This let you know how good college basketball doing. I don't even know who they beat. But let's say that they beat a Duke or something like that. That made me want to watch it. You know what I'm saying? If Loyola was playing, not Villanova, because I know Villanova, or if they was just playing Davidson, the school Steph Curry went to, but without Steph Curry, I ain't watching that. It'll be just like the NIL. What's the other tournament they got? The NIT. I'm not watching that because all of them are Cinderellas. They don't have no good, they don't have any good teams in their hole. So now nobody's watching it. Not because it's not competitive, because they are competitive. They doing their thing. But nobody's watching it because you can't market March Madness, or you can't market the NIT like you market March Madness, because there's not gonna be any upsets. And that's why I go back to the women's basketball. There ain't no upsets unless you beat UConn. And that's why I say UConn. But that was a long-winded way to say what I was trying to say. Had to be a more simpler way to say that shit.
Had to be. You could have said that way more simple. But you, like I said, UConn haven't always had this dominance though. I do agree now.
But they've always been perceived that though. It's like Alabama.
Not always. But that's the thing. Alabama, since Nick Saban, you know what I mean? There was a time prior to Nick Saban that things still went afloat. You know what I mean? So
because they was already perceived like that. Like Nick, if you ask somebody older than us who the best college football coach ever, they're gonna say the coach that was at Alabama. Either way, it's gonna be a coach from Alabama. They're gonna say Nick Saban, or they're gonna say I think his name was Bear Bryant. Because they was already dominant.
They wasn't dominant, bro. You know what?
They was perceived as dominant, though. They were perceived as dominant. And that's with UConn. They don't have to actually be dominant. They're perceived as dominant. So that's what it's going to be.
I don't think Alabama wasn't perceived as dominant before Nick Saban.
Hey.
Dominant. Like, nah, they wasn't perceived as dominant because it was too.
They were perceived as like a contender for sure. Not dominant, because dominant is something that you can't perceive. Dominant is something you actually gotta be. But as good, or as like just a popular team, even they ain't even gotta actually be good. They were still popular.
That's fine. And you have those popular teams that can carry it on. But what UConn and Alabama doing now, they actually have stuff on their back. You know what I mean? Like Alabama's continually being in the top 1 or 2, being in the playoffs since it actually became about. UConn has been dominant as far as Breanna Stewart winning every single year that she was there. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there's also times before then when they had, you mix in a little Kansas or anybody that can still win. You know what I'm saying? And still have, okay, they've been winning. Granted, it's not as to the same degree, that's why I agree with you there. It's not to the same degree, but they still have these people that's not going to look like a NIT tournament. You know what I mean? They're still going to have those people.
No, I'm not saying it's going to look like an NIT tournament. I'm just saying nobody's going to or I ain't gonna say nobody, but a lot less people gonna watch it because you can't market it like the men's March Madness is marketed. You can't market the women's the same way, but they market them together. And so you see what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying, yeah. But the thing is, they don't have by no means the sport of basketball period has been growing in the last 5-10 years exponentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, even though they have those fans, it's going in comparison, it's gonna look like, bro, this has grown so much, but the whole basketball thing as a whole has grown a lot. So it's kind of hard to look at it that way. But I feel like they still had that March Madness type thing. Like that's been going on for a little bit now. But I do agree.
I
Now,
don't think so. Not in
think,
women's. It ain't barely
crazy.
going on now. And nigga, and this shit popular as fuck. This is popular as it's ever. This is as popular as it's ever been. And I cannot name you who, if I just had to off the top of my head, give you 4 teams that I think would go to the women's Final Four, I couldn't do it. And to be fair, with the men's, I wouldn't be able to give you like the right 4, probably, but I could give you 4 because they have at least 4 prestigious like schools. I can say a Duke, I can say a Kansas, a North Carolina, like UCLA. You can go Baylor. You could just keep going. I can't do that with the women's NCAA. I can only say UConn.
It'd be the same. Mm-hmm. Like those schools almost, I ain't gonna say like the men and the women always be performing the same, but they be competitive in it. And I feel like that's almost a lack, not even on you, but people that just really not, they have a fan base is what I'm trying to say. Even if me or you can't name, the top 4 in the women's thing, they actually have a movement that they supplying way more than something like a WNBA. That's all we comparing it to, the WNBA versus what they producing. So it's like,
I think it's UConn. I don't think it's the whole NCAA. I think it's just UConn, and they carrying it because, like I said, they are going. Yeah, if UCLA women's play USC women's, I don't think that it's going to be bad. What I'm saying is people watching it. Like I'm not going to watch the NIT tournament, the men or the women. I'm not going to watch the NBA if you have I can't think of no teams. If you have Orlando playing the Rockets, I'm not watching that shit because yes, it's going to be competitive. Like it's going to be competitive, but it's just, why would I watch this?
I feel you, but it's not on the same level. You're giving top bottom tier type teams to versus somebody that's at that whatever top of their sport.
We don't. What I'm saying is for just a regular sports fans like me and you, I would say we are above average sport fans, and we have nothing against women's sports at all. I know you'll watch the shit if it's coming on, you'll watch it, but you haven't. And that's not because you hate them. You just don't watch it because you probably look at it. I don't know who the fuck this is. Keep going. Or if you do know who it is, I don't know. You just know because of the men.
No, I really think that's because of the marketability of March Madness. That's when I start piquing interest of, okay, let me get familiar with these teams.
Why you like March Madness?
Because of how they perceive everything with it, how they market March Madness, what goes on in the tournament. It has nothing to do with just being the men. It's the women as well.
What? I don't think so. And that's why I don't think it's growing as much, just because like we know that the women's, like, their best team is better than the men's best team. We know this. But it's still like in any other thing where it has like one dominant team, that team, whether they win it all or not, is like super marketed. Like they just take them over the top type shit. And you don't have that with the women's college basketball because they're marketing it along with men's college basketball. But in men's college basketball, you're marketing it a complete different, or you should be marketed in a complete different way, in my opinion. Because like you said, I watch it because of the upsets. That's why I watch the shit. Like you can see one team away, underdog win, blow a team out. I don't have nothing but one upset in women's college basketball because that's only one team. Not technically, not technically, but like in the minds of a regular fan, somebody that because the fans are what grows the sport. Regular fans are what grow the sport. Regular fans are what grow the sport.
Yes.
Casual fans, I should even say.
Yes.
Not me and you. Me and you ain't growing the motherfucker like.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Even if you're a casual fan and you know March Madness, if you see that number 1 versus that number 16, you're gonna pique interest, and that's what gives you the upset. It have nothing to do with somebody could be as ignorant and not knowing who a UConn is, not knowing on the men's side who a Texas is, who is a UCLA. But when you see those numbers and know what March Madness is, that's what I'm saying. Like from from a complete standpoint, all you have to do is see those numbers. You cannot watch them all season, but when you have those numbers next to the name and you see the brackets and you see this team number 14, going like, oh yeah, they doing their thing. That's what creates the excitement behind it. But I do feel what you're saying.
I feel what you're saying. I just don't agree. I can't argue it, but I don't agree.
Yeah, I feel that.
I definitely do not agree, but I can't really just. I don't got no like valid point why I don't agree, but I do know that I don't agree.
Stupid. But let's move right along to our weekly picks. Our weekly picks, folks. Right now we have
canceled our Green Bay season.
Yeah, maybe not.
I'm with you on that one. Fuck it. I'm hungry and shit.
For y'all that don't know, Green Bay, Seattle's on next on the list. Seattle got blew out. We're not talking about Seattle no more.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Kansas City versus Las Vegas, Sunday Night Football.
Damn. We both went 1-2 last week, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Shit, man. Let's see. I'm gonna go with my first man. I'm going with Vegas.
I'm going with Vegas too. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm going with my first man. I learned that shit from you last week because you were supposed to be 2-1.
I was 3-0 because I was 2 things. The Tennessee and I forgot what else. Was it 2-1? I don't remember, but
because we both thought Miami was gonna lose. The Ravens just fucked us over on that one.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you're right. Monday Night Football.
That was not your fault though, type shit. Like, the Ravens supposed to win that hoe. I should have been 2-1 too. Yeah.
Monday Night Football, LA Rams versus San Francisco 49ers.
I'm going with the Rams. 49ers ain't been looking too high.
49ers are terrible.
All right.
San Fran.
They got Jimmy G as their quarterback though, so that ain't ever too good.
I feel like the Rams might have a problem. Just getting Odell, just getting who else they just got?
Von Miller.
They got Von Miller.
How big of a problem could it be though?
That's true, but I feel like
go with the 49ers.
I feel like they might, have to take a game or two to start fitting in. I'm gonna still pick the Rams, so it just makes sense. It don't make no sense not to. But this one kind of hard to me. Thursday Night Football got New England Patriots versus Atlanta Falcons.
That ain't hard. I'm going with the Patriots.
Hard to me because I feel like both of these teams been up and down. Patriots have put up 40-some points.
Atlanta just got 40-something put up on them.
That's true. That is true. You know what?
Go with Atlanta.
It should be an easy pick. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
I mean, hey, thanks. Nigga, Atlanta. The picks is locked in, so you got to stick with Atlanta. Now, Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Atlanta. If they lose, ain't no hurt to me.
Let me shut the fuck up because nigga Crimbo spliced this hoe up if a nigga.
You know what?
Atlanta. Yeah, all right. So sometimes nigga be right.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go with Atlanta on that one. But our picks are in. We appreciate you for checking in with us. Catch us every week. Catch us every Monday. Every Monday on your favorite streaming platforms. Yeah, Birdman on your favorite streaming platform. Catch us on Instagram. Catch us on YouTube. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week, and we out.
Appreciate it.